Alright guys, here we are for match 1 with Turbo Fog List. Just a reminder, this deck is super slow. I'm going to be playing really quickly and I'm not necessarily going to be able to talk to you guys quite as much as I would like. There might be some dead air. And I might not be able to explain all my plays as quickly as I would like. It's just an unfortunate side effect of the deck. Alright, here we go. Green is a great start. We love playing against green decks. Green decks are by far our best matchup. The good matchups for this deck, basically anything that doesn't have a lot of counter spells and anything that can't just burn us to death. So especially these token decks, these are gonna be awesome. We don't care how much life they gain. They can gain like 1,000,000 life and it's fine. They can get infinite creatures. That doesn't matter to us either. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with just these tap lands. I don't need to fog here. They have nothing that I would want to counter. The only card that they might have that I would even consider countering is if they have a Viridian Longbow. We basically can't beat that card, so I do have to worry a little bit about that, but otherwise I'm not worried at all. I'm gonna fog on this turn, and then I'm gonna start playing these bounce lands. Abundant Growth is not a problem. I'm just gonna fog right now and F6 because don't have time to mess around with waiting. One way that we will probably win a lot of games with this deck is getting ahead on time, and I really don't want to get behind on time. I win games all the time with this deck without actually killing my opponent because they run out of time. They've got to put all these triggers on the stack, stuff like that. Alright, so I'm going to play this Simic Growth Chamber, pick up our island, pass the turn. Our opponent is attacking us. So normally I would let an attack like this happen. It's not much damage, but I really want to play some of these card advantage spells, so I'm going to drop this Moment's Peace right here. I want to make them attack this time just so they can't tap with some Convoke spells. If I don't make them attack, they can use their Convoke spells. Alright, they've got an Elvish Visionary. As you can see, we're almost a minute ahead on time already, so we're off to a good start there. This turn I'm going to play the Simic Growth Chamber, and I'm going to pick up the island. I don't think one life is going to matter. Our opponent's going to kill us by a ton if they kill us, so just going to do that. Going to flash back the Moment's Peace here. They're going to tap out for some kind of Convoke spell, and that's okay. I don't really care. It's the flashback one, Sprout Swarm. So they've got a Sprout Swarm in their hand. It just doesn't really matter. This would be another good turn to let the attack through, but and actually I will. These are not going anywhere, and I don't want to just spew them off on non-lethal attacks. I think I will negate the Sprout Swarm here. They just have so few spells that matter, and I want to get a couple spells out of my hand so I can pieces of the puzzle without having to discard. Also, this means their attack isn't lethal this turn. They've still only got the 9 power from last turn. They've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is sometimes an issue to go that low, because this means we can't flashback our deep analysis, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. Let's see what they've got here. Nest Invader is fine. I'm going to quick auto yield to this guy and just F6. I'm not countering anything. Alright, we got another fog effect. So this turn I'm going to play the bounce land again. Pick up our island. It's possible I should have picked up the Thornwood Falls to gain 1 more life, but that doesn't really matter. Hopefully they just attack with everything, but that's not what you should do against a fog deck like this. Even if I didn't have Respite, I might have Tangle, and they're maybe playing a little bit around Tangle with these Saprolings, but look at this, I just gained a big pile of life. They do still have a lethal attack next turn no matter what, so that's just something I have to deal with, but again, I've got these 2 in my graveyard. I've got pieces of the puzzle coming up, so got another Moment's Peace in hand. I'll probably cast the one from hand if I get any card draw with this Pieces of the Puzzle. I hate discarding with this deck, but you discard a lot with this deck, and oh, that was a really bad hit. Really, really bad hit. Let's get a land out of here. I can't Arcane Denial anything this turn, but next turn I might do that just to draw an extra card. It's pretty unfortunate. I mean, you guys remember we just had 12. Okay, I'm a little scared of this Manamorphose, so just in case they're gonna cast some burn spells on me, I don't know what to expect from that. But you guys remember, Pieces of the Puzzle, we have 12 card draw spells, card advantage spells in our deck, leastwise hitting a Preordain and stuff too. Alright, so I'm going to flashback Moment's Peace here. We'll see how many creatures they attack with. They attack with everything, which, again, I would not recommend. I mean, remember, just last turn I cast Respite. Imagine if I had another one. Maybe they know my list. Maybe they assume I copied Umlovebo's list exactly. Okay, we're drawing Fogs. That's okay. We're 2 minutes ahead on time right now, so that's pretty important. Back with everything, a Moment's Peace. I'm going to counter pretty much anything with Arcane Denial. In fact, next turn, if they don't cast anything here, I might... Oh, that just doesn't matter. I might cast a Fog next turn and Arcane Denial it. That gets you a draw 3. As long as you hold control while that happens. Okay, Pulse of Marasa is a decent one. Fortunately, we don't have any of our cycle lands in the graveyard. That'd be really what I would want to get back. But I'm just going to pick up the Scrounger. And since I have this Fog, I can hold up Fog and Arcane Denial. And now that we're up to a really nice life total, they actually can't kill us with this attack unless they cast something else. They only have 14 power, so even if we didn't have the Scrounger, we wouldn't need to Fog. And I won't Fog, because next turn will probably be a lethal attack if they play anything else. My guess is they'll attack with everything again. I'm going to block a Nested Mater. They're debating what they're going to attack with. Okay, all their 1/1s. I guess I'll block Elvish Visionary. So unfortunately, the client's a little laggy, I think because my opponent has so much stuff out. Let's see if my opponent's casting here. I'm kind of like Might of the Masses. Oh, they want to draw a ton of cards. Yeah, do it. Making my job easier here. I'm surprised they didn't attack with a few more creatures, actually, if that's what they were going to do. I wonder if they're going to do that again. I keep adding red mana. I wonder if they have any red spells in their deck. Seems kind of strange. Scatter the Seeds, that's okay. As many creatures as you want are all okay. Alright, so we took some damage, but our opponent's down to 27 cards. We really need to hit a card advantage spell at some point. I'm not going to use Battlefield Scrounger here. We don't have a ton of activations available to us. Alright, and that's that. They have to discard. These Keep Watches are going to be dead pretty soon. They're down to 27 cards, which seems like a lot, but it's really not. Accumulated Knowledge. Hopefully we can hit another Accumulated Knowledge off of this one. Alright, that's pretty good. So, just going to draw some cards. You guys know how that goes. You know I love drawing cards. Well, some of you know. Alright. So one benefit of having gained some life is that I can actually flash this back now. Alright, our hits have been pretty bad off of our card draw spells. Probably should have attacked there. It doesn't really matter very much. Our opponent has to attack with at least 5 creatures to make it lethal, and if If they don't attack with enough, I'm gonna just pulse something back. I'm gonna grab this Radiant Fountain, I guess, to gain some more life. It's possible I should have saved that for when we got a cycle spell, but I'm just saving a fog here that I don't have to cast now. So, see if they cast another Keep Watch. I think they're trying to temper how many creatures they attack with, just so they don't accidentally mill themselves. I do have to be worried. If they're playing Keep Watch, it's possible they have blue spells in their deck. They might have a Dispel or something. Alright, if they were going to do that, they maybe should have attacked with a few more creatures. If they were just going to draw 10 cards anyway. Rites of Initiation. That's fine. Discard as many as you like. So, this is obviously going to be lethal. They only have to discard a couple cards to make it lethal. They've got 4 untapped creatures, so for those of you not familiar with this spell, you can discard any number of cards. And they discarded more than they needed to, but we're just going to Fog here. If they have, I don't know, Manamorphose into a Dispel, we would have been in trouble, but I really doubt that that's something this deck has available to it. So they lost Nest Invader, Forest, a bunch of cards that didn't matter at all. Alright, so they're making this pretty easy on us as far as milling them goes. They're down to 15 cards on their own. I've only got 2 Fogs left though. We're also ahead on time. So things are looking pretty good so far for us, but if we don't draw any more card draw spells, we're going to be in big trouble. But as you can see, we've gone through half our deck, and we've got tons and tons of card draw spells in our deck, and we've only hit a couple. So hit this Accumulated Knowledge, hit another Accumulated Knowledge, and a Fog. I don't want to discard, so I'm going to wait to cast that Accumulated Knowledge till their turn. I don't think this deck is going to have any graveyard hate main deck. Some of the decks that are kind of hard to beat sometimes are the ones with Bojuka Bog in the main deck, and they can sometimes exile our entire graveyard without casting any spells. Okay, our opponent conceded, they realize they're behind on time, there's no way they're getting through in time. I've got this Accumulated Knowledge they don't know about, but realistically I've got all these cards they're not getting through. So this is where the mind games come in. See if we can get to sideboarding. So we have to decide if this is something important to us or not. I also have to decide, I don't know if this list runs any counterspells. They've got the Abundant Growths for some colored mana. They're obviously playing Rites of Initiation, and they're playing Manamorphose and stuff. So I think I am going to want a Dispel or two, but it's so hard to know. I don't know how many they have. But that's something this deck can really struggle with. I definitely want this Respite. It's very good against the token deck. I could gain a ton of life with it. A lot of times Respite isn't that good. If they're even attacking you with 2/2s, it's not that great because you're not gaining as much life as they're attacking for. But when they attack with 1/1s, you gain enough life to survive the next attack too. So it's kind of like a Tangle in that way. But it doesn't matter if they have more creatures the next time. Whereas Tangle, you know, if they have new creatures or if they're able to untap them somehow, then suddenly they can attack again. Respite, you just gain the life. So those are the cards I'm kind of considering. I'm not going to bring in Hydroblast just for Rites. They might, if I see Pyroblast and Rites, I might consider bringing some of these in, but honestly Dispel is just better against that stuff, and I don't think I'm going to bring in all 4 Dispels. Another option is this Negate. The Negate is pretty decent against them. They have a lot of spells, so we were ahead on time, and they conceded fairly quickly, so I'm going to take this Thought Scour out. That's something we don't need. I usually take out a ramp spell if I'm looking for stuff to cut. They're kind of the least impactful, but we are on the draw, so they become pretty important. So I'm going to bring in Dispel, 1 Dispel, 1 more Negate. I'm actually going to bring in this Respite. And I'm going to take out a Ramping, well, I'm going to take out a Kadama's Reach. And then I have to decide 1 more card to take out. And that's where it gets a little tough sometimes. I think I'm going to take out, think twice. So, a couple cards we have to be really concerned about. it's very hard to win through a relic if they play it correctly, but usually you can trick people into cracking their relics early. Alright, if we had an island, this would be a good hand, but we don't have one, so we have to mulligan that. This hand's fine. We'll keep this. We do want more lands, so I'll put that on top. We definitely need to get to the 4th land for deep analysis. Squirrel, not a big deal. This deck's pretty slow, although they can kill you. It could kill you pretty quick with that Rites of Initiation. Alright, since we mulliganed, we get to do this without discarding, so that's kind of nice. And I'll be able to hold up fogs for a lot of the next couple turns. Oh no, Thermokarst. So there must be a lot of Tron running around for people to play that card. But honestly, it doesn't hurt us very much here. It's a little annoying, especially if we get hit again. Then we are going to be very behind. But we have a lot of lands in hand, and they don't have a lot of pressure, so I'm not worried about it. I am, however, going to play an untapped land here, because we would be dead to Rites of Initiation. Well, we wouldn't be dead, I don't think, because they could only do 4, but only do 4 cards, and that would only give them, never mind, that would give them 24, so that would be plenty to kill us if they had Rites. So I am going to take this 4 because I want to think twice. The Thermokarst is really going to hurt us with this deep analysis. We are really far away from casting it, unfortunately. Alright, another tapped land. We'll pass the turn. It's possible I should have played an untapped land so I could flash this back, but kind of anticipate using one of these this turn. Alright, I'm actually just going to take this. If they cast Keep Watch, I have to decide if that's something I care about. Manamorphose definitely I don't care about. Keep Watch, they're going to draw a big pile of cards. And then they have no more mana, so they might cast Rites here. And I would have to decide if I just want to counter that or if I want to play Moment's Peace. I think I would play Moment's Peace. I'm not doing anything if they're just dealing me 5. See if they have anything else they want to do this turn. Nothing. So I probably should have played an untapped land. That was probably a mistake. I could have cast this thing twice. I was just thinking, you know, I probably have to play one of those this turn, but that ended up not being the case. Now I have to decide if I'm more likely to flashback Think Twice or if I want to hold up Moment's Peace and Arcane Denial. And I think I want to hold up both. I'm still a little leery. I don't know this list perfectly, and I don't know if they're going to have Dispels and Counterspells in their deck. Also, I could easily they could easily play a Rites of Initiation and play a Thermokarst, and I need to counter the next Thermokarst at this point. However, I will not do anything about taking 5. There's no need for me to spew off my fogs early, other than the fact that right here I am gonna have to discard. Yeah, I don't care about that. So at this point they have lethal creatures, so I don't really care if how many they play. They can play as many as they want. Okay, more scatter. That's not a problem. I got these deep analyses. I think this turn I'm going to play a land, preordain, and then discard a deep analysis. Alright, I'm going to put one of them to the bottom. You know, I kind of have enough card draw, like raw card draw with deep analysis, so I'm just going to pass the turn, and luckily we kept ourselves right at 7, so I can flashback Deep Analysis twice. I can flashback both copies if I need to. One thing that's interesting about this deck, you do sometimes win by just casting Deep Analysis a bunch of times on your opponent. Definitely done that before. You can mill them for 10 cards in a turn sometimes if you deep analysis them twice, flash it back twice, and thought scour them. And that can really come out of nowhere. Let's see how many creatures our opponent attacks with. Exactly 7. So the risk here is I could Pulse Marasa and gain some life, but they probably have a Rites of Initiation, so even if I did that, they only have to discard 1 card. Looks like they do have counterspells in their deck. Oh, that's a Keep Watch. That's not a counterspell. They only have 1 blue here, so they can only cast 1 counterspell, and I've got that covered with this Arcane Denial. Alright, that worked. That's one of the features I hate about Magic Online. It just asked me if I wanted to block. I had no legal blocks. Why are you asking me if I want to block? That makes no sense. This is an interesting token list. It doesn't have the Midnight Gund combo that a lot of them have. There's no Presence of Guns. You get these Chatter the Squirrels. I don't know. Those are kind of sweet with the Convoke spells. They're ever so slightly faster than the red ones. Alright, we drew an instant speed draw spell, so that's pretty good because I'm gonna flashback this Moments piece. Perhaps I should do it in their upkeep. In fact, I will do it in their upkeep. I don't want to give them 1 more draw towards getting a counterspell. Although it doesn't matter too much if they hit a counterspell basically at any time we're going to be in, if they hit 2 at any time we're going to be in trouble. So actually I'm just going to let them have it. Sprout Swarm doesn't matter to me. Wish I could always auto yield to the same spell. However, this spell definitely costs them a lot of time and doesn't cost us really any time. It costs me one F2 button click. That's all it does. See what they have here, Manamorphose. Alright, they're helping us out. So you can see I could actually probably just take my Scroungers out here if I didn't have pieces of the puzzle milling me, because they've gone through so many more cards than me. For those of you who watched the Community Pauper Challenge, you could watch my match there and you could see how against these decks with lots of card draw spells, you don't necessarily need to have any win conditions. You don't need the cards that mill them. They're going to draw more cards than you, and they're going to run out before you do. Decks with these Prophetic Prisms and Abundant Growths, they draw a ton of cards just incidentally, which means they have a lot of dead cards. So they didn't even attack, which lets me save my Moments piece, and that's a big deal. Definitely should have at least attacked with 7 power worth of creatures. Okay, I drew another counterspell, or another one of those, another Fog effect, so that's good. I'm down to 6 cards, which means I can deep analysis. However, as you can see, that takes me down to 3 mana. I am not willing to tap below Moments Peace plus Arcane Denial. I want to be able to beat at least 1 counterspell. They're going to play a bunch of Sprout Swarms here. I've F6'd, which is a little dangerous. And you guys probably remember last video, I told you don't F6 if you have blue mana up. However, I know for a fact there's nothing in this deck that I would care about. I don't care about the Sprout Swarm. If they want to cast it in extra time, that's fine with me. It doesn't matter to me at all if they cast it in extra time. In fact, it's eating their clock like crazy. And obviously they don't need all these. I mean, I'm at 9 life. If they attack with 15 power, even a Pulse Marasa doesn't help me. They got enough for 1 more, might as well fire it off, right? Sure. Enjoy your tokens. Maybe they're like hoping my MTGO crashes because they played so many. Alright, how many are they attacking with? 10? Sure, I'll gain 10 life. Alright, they're attacking with more. A lot more. This is more than I would attack with, but I would probably attack with exactly 15. I'm going to play Respite. We're going up to 29. It doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure they have 29 power in play. Actually, they don't. They only have 28 power at this point. Not that it matters. We're not... it's not like I'm going to counter the Sprout Swarm that they're going to play at the end of turn here. So I will Deep Analysis here. No, I won't. Too risky, you guys. I'm going to Pieces of the Puzzle. That means I can flashback my Moments piece and hold up Arcane Denial. Alright. Not the greatest hits, but it's okay. Probably be flashing back this Deep Analysis next turn. It's too risky for me to tap that low. Alright, our opponent is off it. They don't care about this Sprout Swarm anymore. They know they have a lot of power. Although, they maybe should have counted, because I don't need to fog here. That's okay. I'm not going to counter that, but I am going to use the mana to Moments Piece here. Not a snow land, unfortunately for them. They do not gain 1 life. Obviously, they don't have to bother attacking here. Now that they did that, I'm going to go Kodama's Reach. Get some more lands in play. How many forests do I have? I've got 2 in play, so I've got 3 green sources. I'm going to grab another green source. Island tapped. Forest untapped. Alright, we can have 6 here. So realistically, since I took out the Thought Scour, it would be very, very hard for us to kill our opponent in this game. See if they attack with 29 power worth. If they don't, I might actually just take it. They're figuring it out. That's only 24, so I'm actually not going to do anything about that. Yeah, maybe I will. Respite is a ton of life. It's like a double fog when they attack with this many creatures. It'll leave me a little safer against a counterspell too. Okay, our opponent just conceded there. They played a little too slowly, I think, is the issue, where they could have probably won this match if they were able to time me out, but they weren't able to, so 1 round down, 4 more to go. Let's do this.